What is going on, everyone? Citizen back with a World of Warships video today. Now, this time I'm going to be bringing the Tier 10 Japanese battleship, the Yamato, as you can tell from the ship in front of you. The game is going to be on Two Brothers, and I'm basically going to be pushing this A cap for most of the game, just down into the enemy spawn, doing the Circle of Death for the most part. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Yamato and her strengths and weaknesses in this game. I mean, I'm sure pretty much everybody knows what they are, but for those of you who've never heard of what the Yamato is, this is the ship with the biggest guns in the game at 18.1 inches. Allows you to overmatch 32mm plating that you're going to find on every battleship tier 8 and up on the bow and stern. Really just creates some issues with the ship that I really don't like that it can do, whereas some angled ships you can just totally destroy their health bar and there's really no counterplay that they can do, as well as some cruisers. But the cruisers is a little bit better because it's one of the Yamato's great strengths. Now, as far as where the Yamato fits into the meta for tier 10 right now, she is probably the strongest battleship at tier 10 in the current state right now. Now, a few years ago, back when the Montana, the Grover Kurfürst, and the Yamato were the only three tier 10 battleships, I'd say she was by far the weakest. And when fighting Montanas and Kurfürst, she can have struggles because those ships do have the ability to angle away from her and just bounce her shells all day long. But with the recent additions with the British battleships and the French battleships being completely covered in 32mm plating, the Yamato has kind of earned a nice little spot at being much more counter battleship and very, very strong at that. Now, everybody, if you've ever seen a Yamato video, people love to talk about how accurate the Yamato is, and that is true to an extent. Now, people make it out like the Yamato is going to fire an accurate salvo every shot. Now, what people seem to not tell you is that the Yamato has some horrible dispersion problems quite a significant amount of the time. Now, sometimes you'll have shots where your dispersion is just railgun accuracy, and that's pretty nice, but you have to remember there's other ships at tier 10 that can do that. The Montana, for instance, has that kind of dispersion all the time. The Republic also has that dispersion all the time. You got a shot right there where the dispersion just looks beautiful, and I'm guessing it's my aim that missed this out right here, but with the Yamato, there's some ways you really want to play it. Now, I've had people who say it's a very static playstyle, and that is pretty true, because with the Yamato, most people do run the reload module, and with that, your turret traverse is so slow that you really want to always keep the enemies on one side of the ship. You never really have to move or turn sides. If you have to flip sides, you're really going to be losing the ability to shoot or fight back for a very significant portion of time, and you just really don't want that with the Yamato. Now, there you see some of the power that the ship has when fighting cruisers. Zhao might have troll armor when fighting other ships, but when it comes to the Republic and the Yamato, it's no longer troll. They're just going to go right through it like butter. And what the Yamato excels at is punishing people who just want to angle or kite or bow in and try not to do anything. Now, if you know where to aim with the Yamato, some ships, especially US battleships, are very easy to punch right through the nose of. And get some pens and or citadels. Now, it's a little bit harder to get citadels on stuff like Iowa and Montana lately, just since they got their citadels lowered. But if you can put the shells where you want them, and that's a big if, you can get some pretty nice damaging hits. Now, what you want to be doing with the Yamato is tanking for the team by drawing some fire, drawing enemy torpedoes. Now, with this ship, it's not very maneuverable, and parts of it are very prone to HE damage, but it does have very significant amounts of the ship that can just tank all the HE shells that get fired at it without taking any damage. Has a lot of 57mm plating, especially around the midsection of the ship. Everyone has heard of its famous torpedo bulge that it has in this game, of course, so that also helps out with supreme tankiness. Now, sometimes I've been caught in a situation where I'm forced to eat a torpedo in the Yamato, and I will, without a damage con, and I will intentionally try to eat that on the belt because the chance of being flooded is very low. You won't see it this game just because I only probably eat that one torpedo all game, and the rest of it's just going to be shooting with the Yamato motion is fine. Now, most of my team over on the D side is going to be dying, not really doing much. It sucks, but that's kind of the nature of Two Brothers. You usually just play ring around the rosy, and I really despise this map's design for that reason a lot of the time. Now, what we're going to have happen on this side is, because I realize how strong we are on this side compared to our team that is going to collapse on the other side, that we need to push as fast as possible. So instead of trying to keep pushing forward and get the angle on that North Carolina around the island, I decide to turn in towards the enemy home cap. I think it's the C cap, and I want to go full speed. Now, the Yamato is the slowest tier 10 battleship, and you will feel that. It feels like you're playing in North Carolina in terms of speed, but the problem there is that the Yamato is so much larger, and it turns so much worse that it really just feels sluggish most of the time. And that, coupled with the turrets turning very poorly, it means that's where the static playstyle comes in. You also can't really get too close with the Yamato, as it does have a very, very exposed citadel, especially around the hexagonal armor layout around the front turrets, and the fact that its citadel is raised significantly above the water. Now, there is some bad news to that citadel being raised up. You can't go close, but on the flip side, ships don't ever tend to citadel the Yamato at range, even when flat broadside. Now, you can get some nice pens on the Yamato, upwards of 20,000 damage, of course, but citadels are very rare, especially when you're 15 kilometers out, unless you're in another Yamato. The Republic has a chance of doing it, maybe the GK with 420mm guns, but it's just very hard to do, just because of the thickness of the armor. Now, as I'm pushing this other side, I do pop the spotter plane because I want to be taking some shots over these islands. Most of these ships are not really aware that we're pushing around them, so I want to be able to go ahead and get a nice good alpha strike on them, since I am dark, so they won't see these shells coming at first. Now, I do see the enemy Yamato pushing in, and for those of you who've never been in a Yamato versus Yamato fight, what you want to actually do is be completely bow in, nose towards them. Now, the Yamato will citadel itself through the nose, but if it's completely bow in, it actually struggles to do that fairly often. Now, if you're completely bow in when fighting another Yamato, you're just going to get pens. Now, pens do rack up, and you still want to take those, but if you do give it slight angle, and the enemy player does know how to hit that octagonal citadel, you're going to get citadel, and it's going to hurt. Now, I noticed this dude went full broadside to me. Having not been detected for a long time, I do hold the shot and then take it once he goes full broadside. Get a nice, good double citadel. I wish it had been more. Only 4 of those shells hit, and again, 4 out of 9 is all right, but it's not very tier 10 in my eyes. So I am gonna, keep shooting at this dude for several more shots because he just does not angle against me, and realistically, none of the other enemies are deciding that they want to come back and defend the C cap. Now, our team over at D has completely fallen apart. Get another nice good volley on the Yamato right there. About to cross the 100,000 damage threshold. Now, I am leading the charge, so to speak, for my team. I do have my friendly and a gearing right there out in front of me, but he is just there for spotting. If anyone's going to shoot me, shoot at our team, it's going to be shot at me. We are down on ships a little bit right now at this point, with everybody having died over on the other side of the map. It's just those of us who went over to A who need to go ahead and try to win this game. Now, this is what the Yamato is going to be very good at right now, is stopping a push. Now, most ships are very good at stopping a push, however, some of them aren't. Ships that are really good at stopping a push are ships that can overmatch, such as the Yamato, or ships that can burn the crap out of you, like light cruisers and the Royal Navy battleships. So, if you're not on one of those ships, burning another team is going to be, or stopping a push with AP is going to be almost impossible, and stopping a push without good HE is also going to be very difficult. That's why cruisers, when they kite, are very good, especially a ship that's kiting into them. Now, I am taking some high explosive spam here from the enemy Cleveland and the Kronstadt. Now, I'm not really worried about the Kronstadt or the Cleveland's damage, because I do notice the Cleveland has beached on the curve first. It's not a beach, but he did get stopped fully, and as he's stuck on that curve first, he's not able to move. Do put a shot down range and do score a nice citadel on him. Typically, the problem with shooting Clevelands right now in a high-tier battleship is you just get nothing but overpens, but I'm not that mad about that. I'll take a citadel any day of the week. So I do continue to back up. Now, I don't want to give too much broadside to the enemy team because they do have a Richelieu coming around that corner too. And Richelieu, while it only has 15-inch guns, they do pack quite a serious amount of penetration. And if I were to go broadside at this range, he would most likely be able to punch right through it. So I'm going to use my 2 front guns on the enemy Kurfürst and the cruisers, and just use my back gun on the enemy Yamato. There you can see some of the dispersion problems there. I really need those shells to be hitting where I aim them, because that dude is so far away that I have to hit a specific point in order to get the pens. But unfortunately, I just get shadows and bounces with that side. Enemy Kurfürst decides to go full broadside. Now, I am backing up here. I should probably be pushing a little bit forward, but I wanted to keep my angle against the Richelieu in this situation. And I do have a Minotaur, and it looks like a North Carolina did smoke up in front of me. Unfortunately, we did lose that other ship that was in front of me. I have no idea what it was. My preview screen is tiny. Sorry, guys, but not 100%. Now I do have my friendly Gearing who is dumping torps at the enemy, and so I decide to go ahead and just keep my shots on the Kronstadt. He does have the radar, which will spot these guys, and he does have very powerful guns. And then there you see some very good dispersion. Now you saw the shells just come in from over the top. That was actually the enemy Des Moines. He's gone around and he's capping our home cap. I believe it is the A cap. No, sorry, the B cap. He's going ahead and take that from us, and he's probably going to push around. So what I want to do in this situation is kill these dudes as fast as possible, and then try to engage off of the enemy Des Moines. The enemy team still has a points lead, and they did just get the cap advantage. Sorry, they did just get the caps tied up against us with the enemy Des Moines taking our cap. Now, I do lose the North Carolina, which sucks. Kind of wanted him to stay alive, and then I get a really weird citadel on the Grober Kurfürst over there. That should probably hit right underneath his turret and hit a 32mm plate that just went right through it. So, in this situation, I have two ships charging in, a Kronstadt that I can angle against, and a Richelieu that I want to try to keep bow in. So I am going to have to take my third turret out of the equation here. I notice that the Kronstadt is backing up, so if I can get some good dispersion, I will hit him very hard with pen damage. So that's what I want to try to do, is help my team focus fire here. The Richelieu has too much health, and if a battleship isn't going to present a broadside, it's going to be hard to citadel him, especially at that angle. So I'm not going to go through 50,000 health faster than I'm going to go through 10 or 20,000 on the Kronstadt. So in this situation, just want to keep helping my Minotaur, who is leaving his smoke and shooting at the same time, just keep punishing this Kronstadt. Now, my Minotaur does make a mistake here. He does kind of go full broadside to the enemy Richelieu on the turnaround, and he does lose most of his health, and eventually does actually die here. Now, I really needed him to stay alive. I kind of wish he'd have stopped shooting and just left the scene and waited for his next smoke to come out. Now, friendly Gearing torps from my division mate do come in and hit the Kronstadt, so it's just me versus the Richelieu. Now, I was pushing in because I did notice that I needed to get a better shot on the Richelieu, but here I noticed a problem that I just put myself into. If the Richelieu wanted to ram me here, there's nothing I can do about it. With my Minotaur about to die, now I don't know this for sure, but I'm fairly afraid of him dying here. That's going to take away any torpedo power that I have. Now I do have, I see, and I watch him lose most of his health there. The enemy Des Moines has pushed into A on the other side, so we are going to be at a 3 cap to just our 1. So I need to go ahead and do something here. So I try to back up, but I realize with the Richelieu going full speed ahead, I am never going to get out of his way in time. So what I need to do here is try to turn him and eat whatever citadels he gives me and just stay alive. Now, I can take 50,000 damage and still kill this Richelieu. I don't want to, but it's better than dying. He does get a nice good hit there, but not that much. Now, I do cross the corner on him. You can see here the turret traverse of the Yamato. This ship is just a terrible brawler. You never want to be in this situation with it. Even a tier 8 is better than you. But coming up behind me, I do have my division mate in TeamSpeak or Discord saying he's bonsai charging this enemy Richelieu here. So he does come up behind him, and not behind him, but in front of him, and dumps all his torps on the side of him. Now, we do lose the Minotaur in all of this fighting, which sucks, so it's just the two of us versus the Des Moines. Now, in this situation, what I tell my division mate is do not fight the Des Moines, of course. Go down to the other caps and start taking them back. The enemy team does have a triple cap to ours, but we did swing a points lead. Now, the Des Moines, if he wants to win this game, needs to cut back to B cap and try to find the gearing. Now, of course, he doesn't know where the gearing is, but he does have an advantage right now, which he can just kind of flee away from us and use his concealment to try and win this game. There is quite a bit of time left on the game, about 5 minutes right now, so if he let the triple cap point out, he would be able to make up this points lead and possibly take it if he just played to his concealment. Now, I don't have all my guns on target, but this dude, come on, you can't do that to any battleship. I don't care what cruiser you're in, and actually get him with a dev strike, so that's going to be the battle for me. Nice 220,000 damage in this game. Confederate, high cal, Dreadnought, fireproof, all the achievements in the world. If you guys do enjoy, I am live on Twitch most days around 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time. I will catch you guys all later.